At E3, video gaming's bigots have lost. Checkmate, goober grapers. 4 years ago, yeah, they're still going on about Gamergate. 4 years ago, a row hit the games industry like an atomic bomb. The treatment of women, both within the industry and the games themselves, was being scrutinised like never before. That's good code for there was a feminist infiltration of the gaming industry, where it wasn't really desired by the majority of people. And as journalists predicted that gamers are over, you mean Leigh Alexander decided to attack the identity of gamer, which was, in hindsight, something of a mistake. An angry and at times vicious movement emerged, Gamergate. It's weird that the FBI decided that Gamergate did nothing wrong, isn't it? FBI closed Gamergate case due to no actionable leads and no evidence. It's almost like the SJWs were lying, and the FBI found that there was absolutely nothing that they had to do here. Weird. Maybe the FBI's full of Gamergaters as well. They probably hate women too. Have you considered accusing the FBI of misogyny? Because that's really something you should do. It really is effective. It works very well. Persuades everyone that there are actually misogynists everywhere, and there isn't a cabal of SJWs who are obsessed with using linguistic weapons in order to change the world to the way they want it. But sorry, let's get back to you peacocking and crowing about how you won, and how you got exactly what you guys wanted. Supporters of Gamergate would say it was about ethics in games journalism. Well, it was, but it turns out that it was the feminist cabal in gaming that happened to be the corrupt ones. Really, really corrupt. But it was quite openly more often than not about something else. Women, minorities, and hatred of so-called social justice warriors. Well, yes, we do call them social justice warriors, but it's got nothing to do with women and minorities, because the problem that you have, and what we have, is that most SJWs are white men. As if social justice was something to be avoided. Well, yeah, I don't think you can even define social justice. You can't articulate the thing that you're asking for. But you've got a nebulous, undefined goal, and you know that the white men are the problem, so you may as well fight the war. It was a row that would go on to consume lives and careers, creating celebrities of the likes of Milo Yiannopoulos as it went. What about me? In many respects, Gamergate was a dress rehearsal for what we refer to today as the alt-right, because you don't know what the fucking alt-right is. And you don't know what Gamergate was either. You are so unbelievably misinformed about these subjects. It's actually genuinely hilarious to watch you flounder. I'd been at E3 in June 2014, just before Gamergate really took hold, and it's because it started in August 2014. And in summing up that year's show, I conclude the industry still had a problem with women, despite new momentum and new demands for progress. The show's lowest moment was in learning that the year's new Assassin's Creed game would have 4 playable characters, all of them male. Oh, fucking hell, what did you do? Did you go and cry yourself to sleep in a body pillow of Anita Sarkeesian? The following year, 2015, yeah, we know what year follows 2014, I went back to E3. I was curious to see how the industry would react, yet despite the fire and fury online, it felt as if absolutely nothing had changed. I wondered, what were the games companies doing? Were they afraid? Were they conflicted? Had they even been listening? A friend of mine in the game industry said, games take time. Let's see where we are in a few years. Number of women protagonists in E3 games are still in single digits. Oh, sorry, am I not meant to laugh at the failure of the feminist movement to make 50% of the protagonists in games women? Because I am laughing. But let's take a look at that Feminist Frequency report. I'm sure that's really interesting. Feminist Frequency released its annual breakdown of gender roles in E3 games today. Really important business. Despite high-profile showings from The Last of Us Part 2, Wolfenstein Youngblood, and Battlefield 5, we'll talk about that in a minute, the share of games in the show featuring women in leading roles is at 8%, consistent with the average over the past few years. Wow, I guess that's the misogynist market defining that, isn't it? By contrast, Feminist Frequency counted 24% of games with a clear male lead. That's really depressing. For you. Half of the games at the show allow players to choose their gender, and interestingly, most of the games I play either don't have a protagonist, like Rome Total War, or you get to make your gender, like an ARC. A further 5% are gender ambiguous. Feminist Frequency offers analysis and commentary on video games, especially how games approach gender. Yeah, that's really relevant. Thanks. So, I mean, really, when you say games by gender here, what you're looking at is 58%. Either involve directly or potentially involve at your discretion a female character. Is that not good enough? When a game features a set female protagonist, every player who enters those worlds must experience them through the lens of whoever the female protagonist might be. These games work to normalise the notion that male players should be able to project themselves onto and identify with the female protagonist, just as female players have always projected ourselves onto and identified with male protagonists. Do I have to? At an event hosted by EA, there's a line of people baking under the LA sun with the hope of the chance of getting to play Battlefield 5. For the first time, players will be able to play as a woman in that. Well, it's only because it's set in World War II, or at least it used to be set in World War II. I don't know where it's set now, but I did watch the trailer and it didn't look very World War II-ish to me. When news of the game was published online, a backlash ensued, with some fans left incensed that adding women into the game would not be historically accurate. A hashtag #NotMyBattlefield was born. Well, I mean, I agree that adding women to frontline soldiery in World War II would not be historically inaccurate, especially if you're playing on the Western Front, but that's really not the worst of it, is it? Let's watch their little video.
One of the most anticipated games this year is Battlefield 5. While this one is still set in World War II, it includes a woman with a prosthetic arm, which...
A prosthetic arm? Is that how we're describing it? Okay, it's just a prosthetic arm, there's nothing else to it. On the E3 show floor, the only women I see in skimpy outfits are fans who have decided to dress as characters, not models paid to attract men to a booth. Ah, it's good to see you're putting women out of a job. There's nothing like attractive women being paid to be attractive at a place that turns a feminist off faster, is there? I mean, there's definitely a distinct amount of jealousy contained within, I'm pretty certain. Checking in with what's left of the Gamergate movement these days, I don't think that Gamergate is a movement these days. Now it's basically just a broad free speech coalition that operates on the internet. But one of the most popular forums revolves around the anger of the imprisonment of former EDL leader Tommy Robinson, female Wikipedia editors, and how the left has supposedly infiltrated the games industry, and by extension everything else too. Now, well, I mean, yes, but not because of the games industry. But it's true, they have. I mean, you're here demonstrating that you are a part of that. I mean, you're in fact crowing over this, aren't you? What once referred to as the thinly veiled elements of Gamergate are now fully visible. But it no longer matters. As I leave Los Angeles with another E3 behind us, it's clear that the Gamergate way of thinking has lost. The industry has stepped up and video games will be all the better for it. Just you wait, buddy.